My name is Margarita Garcia, and I'm a blessed recovering addict. It started for me when I was about 16. Got 11 brothers, 3 sisters, so come from a very big family. I come from a broken home, so I've kind of been through every abuse imaginable, and it really affected me growing up to be a teenager. So I left home when I was 16 from my dad's house and went to live with my mom, who was an alcoholic, and I pretty much did what I wanted to do. So I say I stood in her house for 3 days, and then I hit the streets. I had so much pain in me that the own and rebellion, right, because of the abuses that I went through when I was a kid, that I found my fix with drugs. And particularly, first I started smoking marijuana. I progressed to using cocaine. At 17, I did heroin and lost a best friend of mine in the process. So heroin didn't become a problem for me at that point because I saw that and I just stuck to cocaine. I began to sell drugs, and to maintain my habit and just to maintain the lifestyle of just being in the streets and not being back at home. And it was a really painful time for me. I felt like I didn't ever want to be sober because I didn't want to face the challenges or the trauma that I had faced when I was a child. But as luck would have it, and yes, I said luck, I got arrested. And I was kind of forced to come into treatment. I was mandated. And at first I said, all right, I don't want to go to jail, right? And I went to treatment to kind of escape the prison. And it took me a while before I actually got into that mode of wanting the help. And I think it happened for me one day. I think it was my 3rd treatment program. I kept leaving them, and I was in front of the judge. I had caught a new case for selling drugs, and she said, "What is it? What's missing?" And I'm snot-nosed crying in front of her, and I said, "Hope. I'm missing hope." And she says, "Well, I'm gonna have hope in you until you start having hope yourself." And she hits the gavel and she remands me for another 30 days. But then she gave me another opportunity to come into treatment. And I'm telling you, that was it for me. Just putting myself through the endless pain and putting myself through all these challenges and not knowing myself, right? I came into treatment for the 4th time, and I started really digging into me. I really started digging into my childhood, my trauma, re-experiencing the pain, but processing them in a healthy way. It's been, actually tomorrow makes 17 years that I have, decided to change my life. In that meantime, I became a homeowner. I got married. I had a child. I got my driver's license. And, I just started a new life. And it really is just that. I started to learn how to live again. I started to reconditioning my thinking, reconditioning who I'm hanging around with, my environment. Started really, my social supports, that for me, that was really critical. That it really helped me live the life. I gotta say, my job really helps me keep it green for me. The work that I do in helping other addicts coming into treatment has been critical for me because it keeps it there. This is where I could be if I lapse again. I can't say that it's easy being, sober, because there are times that, you do get cravings and thoughts, especially when I lost my brother. I actually, like I said, I do have a big family, and my older brother 4 years ago passed away of a heroin overdose. 6 months later, my other brother passed away from a cocaine-fueled rage. He was murdered. And, you know, times like that, it's challenging. You're full of all these emotions that you really don't know what to do with. And what I knew what to do when I had emotions was use drugs. Then my dad died a couple years ago. So I think what's kept me clean, aside from my job and seeing what it's just been the support that I get from my family. You know, I went from being the black sheep of the family to being the matriarch, you know, and just seeing how much people look up to me now, how vastly I've changed. It really forces me to keep that up front, that people are always looking at me to be that model, you know, to be that person, to be the example for others who think that I can't do it. Because if I came from the background that I came in, and I did the things that I did, and I'm here to talk about it, and not only talk about it, but to help others come on board to this recovery train, I think anybody can do it if they have the right supports, the right resources surrounding them.